Elon Musk confirms Tesla is not betting the company on the robotaxi, but he says, in quotes, not quite betting the company, but going balls to the walls for autonomy is a blindingly obvious move. Everything else is like variations on a horse carriage. Here in this video, we will be going over what's happening in our markets today and all of your Tesla stock breaking news. The first thing I will point out is Tesla stock did have some good news today, and the stock is reacting accordingly. Even though the Nasdaq is down about 1%, Tesla's stock at the time of recording this video is almost green. That's quite an outperformance. Before we get into all of this key information, everything you need to know about markets and Tesla today, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's free 99. It costs you absolutely nothing to do so. But if you don't do either of those things, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this information. And let's get started. So there's actually a lot of news for Tesla today, and I'm going to try to get through all of this as quickly as possible. But this is one of the biggest pieces of news today. It says Tesla has filed its annual proxy statement. The annual shareholder meeting will be on June 13th, 2024. Tesla is asking Tesla shareholders to once again approve Elon Musk's $56 billion pay that was set in 2018, but was rejected by a Delaware judge in January. Tesla says in the letter that Elon has not been paid for any of his work at Tesla for the past 6 years, and that has helped to generate significant growth and stockholder value. That strikes us and the many stockholders from whom we already have heard as fundamentally unfair and inconsistent with the will of the stockholders who voted for it. The 2018 CEO pay package required Elon to deliver transformative and unprecedented growth to earn any compensation. It was a big risk, and many thought that the plan's targets for benefits to stockholders were simply unachievable. But our company and leaders have always had big dreams, and it is fundamental to the entrepreneurial spirit of Tesla to take big risks for the chance at big rewards. I think this news is being taken as favorably today by Tesla stock investors because maybe we'll put this whole thing behind us once and for all, and then Elon can subsequently get a new compensation package. That new compensation package is likely going to have tranches just like the last one did, with, again, very much quote-unquote unachievable goals. We're talking 2, 3, 4, 5, $10 trillion market cap thresholds and profitability thresholds. And I believe Elon Musk, currently being in war mode as Tesla's CEO, well, he's getting ready to fulfill those tranches, meaning Tesla stock probably going higher from here. Now, that statement I just made is obviously forward-looking, and I'm not expecting Tesla stocks going back to all-time highs or a $5 trillion market cap tomorrow, but what we've seen from Elon in the past really couple of months, with Tesla starting to focus more on profitability, it seems like Elon is setting Tesla up to be able to achieve the new tiers of a subsequent compensation package, which looks like it could be coming this year. And apparently, according to Tesla, 4 of Tesla's top 10 largest shareholders came to Tesla unsolicited to tell the company that they disagree with Tornada's invalidation of Elon Musk's 2018 CEO Performance Award. Tesla says 7 institutional stockholders, including 4 of the top 10, felt strongly enough to seek a meeting with the board chair and raise the issue. One of those top investors, T. Rowe Price, sent a follow-up letter to the board chair reiterating its support for a new stockholder vote. You have also seen more than 6,000 individuals claiming to be stockholders owning more than 23 million total shares, equivalent to the 11th largest institutional stockholder, that have sent unsolicited letters and emails to the board or to Tornada court supporting the reinstatement of Mr. Musk's equity compensation. And according to a poll or a vote that Sawyer Merritt just put out on his X account, he says, if you are a Tesla shareholder, will you vote for or against this proposal? 81.2% are currently going to vote for this to reinstate Elon's 2018 comp package. And again, the last thing I'm going to say on this, because I could make a whole video on this, but there's a lot of other things we need to cover. Getting this situation over with is fantastic. It means that Elon is not going to have to sell stock to give back some of that compensation, although we don't know exactly how that's going to work anyways. That situation, that whole mystery uncertainty, is over with. When uncertainty goes away, that tends to be very good for a stock or the overall markets. And then from here, we can get a new compensation package with, again, more quote-unquote unachievable thresholds for Elon to get more compensation, in which that would make you a lot of money if Elon is compensated on a new compensation package. But getting into some of your other Tesla stock breaking news today, Tesla has lowered its starting lease price for the Model 3 in the US to $299 a month from $329 per month. Elon Musk is reportedly set to announce a Tesla investment in India of $2 to $3 billion, mainly for building a new factory, when he visits New Delhi next week to meet Prime Minister Modi. As I have explained before, India one day will have the most developed people living in a single country. The quicker, the sooner you can get into that country, no matter what company you are, the better off you're going to be longer term, like many years down the line. Tesla's Megapack factory in Shanghai is reportedly scheduled to start construction in May and begin mass production in the first quarter of 2025. And according to Tesla's proxy statement, Tesla has spent around $200,000 advertising through February on X, which that's a pretty low amount. And as Sawyer Merritt points out here, it looks like Tesla has went back to their old website style, which personally I think was a lot easier to just find your way around. I think the newer style here gave you a little bit more information up front, was a little bit easier to see, but a little bit more difficult to find inventory or, customize your own Tesla, right? The old web page was definitely a little bit more efficient for that, in my personal opinion, and that's probably why Tesla changed it back. Tata Electronics has reportedly signed a strategic deal with Tesla to procure semiconductor chips for its worldwide operations. By the end of 2026, the first semiconductor chip from the new plant being set up by the Tata Group and Taiwan's Power Chip Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation, PSMC, in India will be ready to roll out. And this overall just sounds like a win-win for Tesla. Something Nvidia must be quite worried about. Tesla is seen as maybe one of Nvidia's largest customers today. Elon Musk confirms Tesla is not betting the company on the robotaxi, but he says, in quotes, not quite betting the company, but going balls to the walls for autonomy is a blindingly obvious move. Everything else is like variations on a horse carriage. And it's actually crazy when you just think about Tesla going full tilt into the biggest AI project the world is ever going to see or know. Most likely, I can't think of anything that's going to be a larger impact to society than cars being able to drive themselves and a robotaxi network. And Tesla stock is getting absolutely no love at all from any of this. Whereas other companies can just mention AI and go up 10 to 20% on earnings. It seems more obvious than ever. Wall Street is just missing the ball here. And that, my friends, is to your benefit. About 915 Cybertrucks were spotted at Giga Texas yesterday. This pileup is due to a delivery hold from an accelerator pedal issue. Deliveries should resume soon as the delivery hold is expected to be lifted later this week. Canaccord Genuity analyst Giankis has reiterated his Tesla price target of $234 and a buy rating. He did put out this rather long note, and he basically says right here in this first column that Q1 deliveries were likely artificially low to some extent due to the Red Sea situation, the arson attack in Germany, the Chinese New Year. There is things to kind of explain what happened with Tesla's Q1 deliveries. But in regards to what has recently happened, he says the bad. The first thing we thought when we saw the layoff headlines was, whoa, margins must have been terrible in Q1 2024. On that score, they very well may have been, and we'll all find out together when the company reports earnings next week. In terms of what else these layoffs could mean, clearly the company is now contending with a period of slower growth, slower than they may have thought even at the beginning of 2024, which, by the way, makes the new robotaxi reveal all the more important. Will we get a vehicle that will reignite unit growth or one that will fail to energize the market? Finally, senior executives like Drew Baglino, SVP of Powertrain and Energy, leaving were a bit of a body blow and reminiscent of other key departures, including CFO Zach Kirkhorn and Chief Technical Officer / co-founder JB Strobel in 2019. He goes on to say Strobel still sits on the Tesla board of directors. And then he says the not so bad. Tesla has had multiple layoffs in its history, always difficult organizationally, but according to Mr. Musk, necessary for, quote, the next stage of growth. While the recent one may be on a larger absolute size relative to history, it doesn't stick out that meaningfully on a percentage basis. And let's be honest, Tesla stock sitting in the 150s today is priced for all of this. It's not going to come as a surprise when margins are bad, when EPS is bad, when revenue is bad. Like, it's just not, okay? What's most important is where Tesla is going next. Given that Elon Musk has recently changed his X profile picture to show himself in body armor, effectively in war mode, I want a CEO in war mode. What war mode means is they're going to do everything they need to do to continue to grow the business as much as organically possible, as well as focus on profitability. Make the company as great as possible. That's effectively what war mode means. And that's what Elon is doing. In other words, this war mode-like strategy is kind of like Meta back in 2022. They kind of went into war mode as well and had to find ways to cut costs and boost profitability and retain shareholder value. And that's exactly what they did. And that is what Elon and Tesla are likely doing now. By the time the markets realize this, probably on April 23rd, Tesla's stock is going to be substantially higher than where it is today. In my personal opinion, could Tesla fall after earnings? Sure, but you would have to get some really bad news that is not already priced into Tesla. And just look at that. Tesla stock is now up 0.5% today, whereas the NASDAQ is still down almost 1%. It seems like Tesla stock is just really starting to outperform now. And if you missed this news from yesterday, Tesla totally got rid of all inventory discounts for the first time since 2022 on Model Ys, Model 3s, Model S, Model Xs. No more inventory discounts. And Elon goes on to say that it's very inefficient the way that they are currently operating, and we don't exactly know what he means by that. We'll get more clarity on April 23rd, but there's been rumors that maybe 0% financing is coming, or a more simple streamlined way of selling Teslas. We just don't know. But what I will tell you definitively, Tesla getting rid of the inventory discounts in spite of weaker unit demand is telling you Tesla's focusing more on profitability. That is a fact at this point. The writing is on the wall. Now, R&D, how much does the severance cost? All of these things will impact bottom line EPS. But I think the true bottom line here is Tesla focusing more on profitability will be great news for Tesla stock here in the not so distant future. Now, one reason why Tesla stock may be outperforming today is the fall in 10-year treasury yields that you are seeing, down almost 8 basis points today. You did have a 20-year treasury auction that came in about 3 basis points lower than estimates, and that is probably having a effect on pushing yields lower. You also have a little bit more news, I guess, out of this Middle East situation, and maybe Israel is actually going to respond after all. We'll see, but you could definitely imagine big money buying bonds as kind of a hedge to any further crisis in that region. Like this headline, quote, hardline Israeli minister calls for disproportionate response to Iranian attack that will, quote, rock Tehran. Tesla's option activity from big money. These are hedge funds, institutions, money managers of all different kinds. Anyone with large sums of money, you're picking up the options transactions here in the interesting options flow. You have seen 644 different trades totaling $959 million with a positive order value of 78%. So pretty dang bullish today. It looks like shorts are continuing to short Tesla stock today with a net short of about 200,000 shares so far today. Cost to borrow fees sitting at about 10% as well, which is a pretty good indicator of additional shorting activity. You do have a 2 to 3 year high for overall short interest of free float at 3.89%, $16.93 billion currently in short positions, still with about 108 million shares that are currently sold short. Google trends data for the Tesla lineup showing a slight deceleration, the Cybertruck going from 55 to 53, the Model Y going from 32 to 30, the Model 3 going from 24 to 23, the Model S and the X staying unchanged, the Model S at 11, and the Model X sitting at 9. Google Trends data for full self-driving is moving lower as well today. Again, I'm expecting this, but I want to see where we kind of trend, right? Prior to this FSD free trial, you were trending anywhere from 10 to 20 on average. There were moments you would hit lows at like 5 here, 9 here, 11 here, but normally it was in between 10 and 20, like 10 and 18 really. If we can stay in the 20 to 30 range, that would be great. Currently, we're sitting at about 47 as far as this partial data. So this does look good so far. Over on StockTwits, sentiment for Tesla today, mainly from retail investors, is extremely bullish. It's been a while since sentiment from retail was extremely bullish. It's at 77 today. Yesterday, you were at 31, which was bearish. What's interesting, though, is message volume is actually lower today. Message volume is coming in at 57, which is still considered high, but yesterday you were at 62, which was also considered high, and the participation ratio today is at 55, which is roughly where we have been for a while now. Global inventory numbers for the Model Y taking a sharp down move today from 9,300 down to about 6,300. That is a 3,000 reduction in inventory. Not exactly sure what's going on there, but to see Model Y inventory fall is great, okay? Well, I shouldn't say great necessarily. It either means less production or more selling. So I guess one could be bad, but if Tesla just sold more Model Ys, that would be great. Overall, reducing inventories tend to be positive net. You do have the Model 3 inventory numbers rising, which is also good. We know that demand is outstripping supply of refreshed Model 3s in the US. So to see these numbers rise would be good news. The Model 3 is now sitting at about 2,600 for global inventories, the Model X sitting at about 2,500, and the Model S at about 1,300. Tesla continues to run about 4,000 different ads with Google. The percent of stocks above their 50-day moving average is sitting at about 28.7%. You're actually down about 1.16%. So 1.16% of stocks, almost 1.2% of total stocks on our markets, thousands of stocks, fell under their 50-day moving average today. So especially to see Tesla outperforming on a day like today where the average stock is actually falling, that just doesn't happen all that often. As you can see here on the charts, you are finding support around this downtrending line here. And it's just crazy how the technicals work so well on Tesla, right? As long as you stay above about 155 right now, things look pretty good for Tesla. Now, if earnings come in bad from TSMC coming tomorrow morning or from Netflix coming tomorrow and after hours, that could push Tesla under that 155 level. Or if this Israel strike against Iran comes sooner rather than later, that could definitely push Tesla stock back down to this next line here, which would be essentially filling this gap that you've seen back here on January 26th. And that would put Tesla stock at about $147 per share. And I wouldn't bet against that at this point. Although you are seeing a lot of support here around 155, it's still possible Tesla stock could fall further from here. But then again, I believe coming on earnings, that's where you get the big upside surprise. And probably at this point, if we go into earnings in the 150s, a 20+% move on earnings would not surprise me. We will talk about exactly why I'm expecting a big rally after Tesla's earnings in the next video, so stay tuned to the channel for that one. In the meantime, hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about all of this information down below in the comment section. If you guys want to come trade with us as well, live in real time, I post all of my trades, winners and losers. Check out that link down below in the description of this video. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.